Welcome to Rethinking K-12 Education Grant on Demand. This episode is Microsoft Teams, setting up a class team and working with announcements and assignments for teachers. What and why? What is this? Microsoft Teams is a digital hub that brings conversations, meetings, files, and apps together in one place. Why does it matter? Teachers who use Teams in their school district can get started right away with posting announcements and assigning and collecting work from students. Learning objectives. By the end of this video, you should be able to create or access your Microsoft Class team, locate and manage your class team settings, post announcements for students, post assignments for students, and access the Microsoft Educator Center to continue learning. Microsoft Class Teams enables educators to collaborate with students while seamlessly integrating assignments, assessments, and applications directly into the team. Let's begin by learning how to find or create a team.
I've logged into my Office 365 account and I clicked on Microsoft Teams right here from the waffle. I'm using the web app for this demonstration. So there are a few different scenarios when creating or finding your class team. Your IT director may have suggested classes for you based on your class list and current rosters. So if you see suggested classes, then it may be easiest for you to create a team from here. Sometimes IT directors use groups as suggested classes. So I would begin by finding out which route your district would like you to take. The other option is to create a team from scratch, and that's the option I'm going to walk you through right now. Just want to make sure that you know what your district's doing first. So on the top right-hand corner, you're going to click Join or Create a Team. When this screen comes up, click Create Team, and then choose Class. Give your class a name. And optionally add a description, then click Next. This will create your team for you. Usually if you start searching for a student's name, if you start typing, they will come right up with different options for you. And if you need to add an additional teacher to your team, you can do that as well. Otherwise, you can skip for now and add students later. Now remember, if your teams are already ready and set for you based on your rosters, then your students should automatically be in your team already and you won't have to worry about this part. So teachers, you can customize your team picture, and I'll show you how to do that. If you click over here in the top left-hand corner and you click on this little edit button, they give you a bunch of class avatars to choose from, and you can change it up by grade level, by subject, and just see the different choices that they give you. So let's see, I will just choose this one for now and click on Update. So it gives your team a different look and feel. The next thing I want to show you is how to access your team settings for your class. Editing your settings allows you to edit student posting permissions, which is important, set notifications, moderate emoji use, and a few other things that you're going to want to know about. So as teachers, whether a class is created for you or if you create one on your own, you should have access to your own settings. So if I go over to my name on the left-hand side and I click on these three dots here, I'm going to click on Manage Team. And then I'm going to click on Settings. So let me walk you through some of these settings. You can choose a theme for your team, and that was based on the picture, so you can always go back and change it here. There are several member permissions here, and I suggest reading through these so you understand them. As you go with teams, these will make more sense to you. Usually, you want to keep this checked. Owners can delete all messages. You might want to decide if you want to allow your students to delete and edit their own messages because they can type something really quick and then edit it and think they're being funny. And so sometimes when they understand that they can't edit and they can't delete them, then they stop pretty quickly with that. There are guest permissions here. We're not going to need to worry about that. The @ mentions are good for announcements. So this will allow you to send notifications to everyone on the team. And this way, when you put an announcement, it will give them a notification. There's a team code. You may not need that unless you're having your students join by code, and you can generate one, and it would give you the code. You can put it up on your screen and have students join that way if you need. There's also a bunch of fun stuff, and they call it fun stuff, that Teams incorporates for you. Usually strict is already here for filtering out inappropriate content, but you can decide if you want to enable stickers and memes or allow memes to be uploaded. Some teachers that I know will take that out in the beginning and then maybe add them in as they go. Now, we're not going to be talking about OneNote Class Notebook today, but it does come with your team. And this just will explain to you kind of how to get there. And then last but not least, there's tags. So usually you just want to keep that managed by team owners. So there's no save button here, so your settings should hold once you change them. Now, here's where you'll also find your members. So right now you can see that I'm the only owner of this team, and I don't have any members or guests. So here's a place where later on I can go to add members and get back to that search for students and teachers. So now that you know how to create a team or find a team and how to manage the settings, let's talk about posting announcements for students so you can grab their attention when you have something important to say. So I've now clicked on my general channel and I want to post an announcement. I want to create a customized, attention-getting announcement post with a background illustration for them. So what you do is you go down to where it says start a new conversation, and this is the feed in the posts area for your team. But a lot of people don't realize that if you click on this little A right here, you get more options that appear. And instead of just starting a conversation, I'm going to choose announcement here. So I can type a headline for my students. So I'm going to say summer essays due Wednesday. And I can actually make this banner more interesting by clicking on this little picture here. And I can choose an illustration or upload an image. If I choose an illustration, they give you some fun announcement background images in a bunch of different patterns. Pretty cute. So let's see, I'm going to use this megaphone here and click on done. So it changes it and it should grab their attention. Now I can add a subhead for them. Don't forget to check your punctuation and grammar. And then I can say @team, and then it'll come up as my team. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. And that's what I want to post for them. So I'm going to click on this little paper airplane on the bottom right hand corner, and it will send it to my posts area. It's posted as an announcement, and my students will now get a notification as well. So if you mouse over the announcement, if I kind of just click on it, I see these little emojis here. And then if I click on these 3 dots, there's a bunch of other options that come up. I can edit my message. I can delete my message. If I go to edit, and you really, really want your students to see this message no matter what, you can mark it as important. And just notice that there's a lot of other tools available to you. So you can link out to things, you can create tables, And you can also post this in multiple channels as well. Just make sure if you do make any changes that you click on this little check mark at the bottom to save it. So now, because I made this message important, you'll see a little exclamation point here. And there's some other really neat features that you should definitely check out. One of them is if you've watched our video on the immersive reader, this will actually pop the text into the immersive reader environment so that students on their end can read the text aloud, and then they can also have access to a bunch of other features, including language translation, which is really, really cool. So definitely check out that video if you haven't already. The other main feature of your class team that you're going to want to get started with right away is assignments. So you'll notice in this picture here, we were in the Conversations tab, and if you move over to the middle here, you'll see assignments. And this is where you can give your students the handouts they need, and you can also create a copy of different types of files that appear in their own OneDrive that they can make edits to and then turn into you. In addition, they can turn in whatever else they need, such as links or files to you as well. So we'll be going over that next. In your class team, click Assignments tab at the top right here. Then click Create and choose Assignment. Type your assignment title. Let's do Shakespeare Sonnet Annotation, and give clear instructions. So you might not know exactly what they are yet, but it's always important to give super clear instructions. It'll save you a lot of time in the end. If you find that your students are asking for clarification, you'll be able to come back and edit the instructions as well. Okay, so I'm going to make some instructions here, and I said use the attached PowerPoint for reference. So I'm going to click on Add a Resource, and I have some choices. If I have something saved to my OneDrive, I can upload it. I can go to my class notebook, which we will discuss maybe in a future training. I can link out to websites. I can attach new files, and I can also upload from my device, which is what I'm going to do now. So I have this Shakespeare Sonnet PowerPoint, and once I upload it and I click on Done, I can set the permissions. So it looks like students can't edit PowerPoint files, and that's fine. So they would just open that up right in PowerPoint. And I am going to close out of this screen, and now I'm just back working in my assignment. So I've got my title, I've got my instructions, I've got my resource attachment. Let's make this 100 points. You can make it any amount of points that you'd like. Now you can choose to whom you give this assignment to. So this can be for, let's say, more than one class. If you have several classes, you can click on this little button and choose the classes that you want to make this assignment for, all at the same time here. You can also choose all students or certain students that you want it to go to. Now you're going to want to click on the calendar and give it a due date. Let's say September 3rd. You can choose the time if you wish. And it's set to post assignment notifications to the general channel. So we can leave that for now as well. I think it's ready to go. And now I'm just going to click on Assign. So what happens next, you'll see it here in the assignments, but it'll also be in my postings. So remember, we created the announcement with the banner that's here. Students will see this assignment card. They'll see more information about it. And when they click on View Assignment, it'll open up into the Details page. So the student view looks a little different than the teacher view. The student view has all of the details, the amount of points, the attachments. It has built-in immersive reader. So they could read the assignment in their own language if they'd like, which is really cool. And hitting the back button here, student view, back, edit assignment if you want to make any changes to it. And if you do make changes, just click on update. When your students complete and turn in assignments, you'll be able to monitor that progress right here from the Assignments tab. And all you have to do is click back on the card. You'll see your student names, you'll see their work, and you'll be able to click on it, grade it, and return it back to them. So let's take a look at the student view. Student assignments will appear in the order that they're due. So this is a screenshot of what it would look like to a student when they click on the assignment tab. They'll get the student view when they click on it and all of the details. So when they have several assignments, it'll show up when they click on assignments in the order that they are due, and then they click on it to view the details. If you tag an assignment, that's what the tag looks like, and they'll see the number of points directly next to it as well. When they're viewing the assignment and they've attached what they want to return to you, then they click the Turn In button, and that's how you'll receive it back. So there's several different options that appear. They can turn it in again if they're editing an assignment they've already turned in and they need to submit work again. They can turn in late after the due date if the teacher has allowed late turn-ins or asked for a revision. It will not be turned in if the assignment is past due. It'll say not turned in, so you won't, if your teacher's not accepting turn-ins, the student can't turn in the work. And they can also undo. So this button may change depending on the situation. They can undo a turn-in before the due date, make the edits, and then they'll need to turn it in again. So a little bit of practice, the button changes as it needs to, and the students should be able to get their work into you after you assign it in Teams. Many teachers enjoy going to the Microsoft Educator Center, which can be found at education.microsoft.com. What you do is you log in with your Office 365 account here, and there's a lot of resources for you as you move forward using Teams with your students. So I'm going to go there now and we'll take a look. So just go to education.microsoft.com, click on Sign In, and it should recognize an account that you either have already through your school or any other type of Microsoft account will get you into the Educator Center. And you'll see that there's several buttons at the top: training, lesson plans, programs, resources. So if I go into courses, I can do a search for Teams. And there are lots of different courses available to you here. So for example, crafting a collaborative learning environment with class teams. Clicking on that will allow you to start the course. It'll tell you how long it is. It meets ISTE standards. And I find it very beneficial. You can earn points and badges along the way and learn more about how to use Teams with your students in the classroom.
Now that you've reached the end of the episode, you should be able to create or access your Microsoft class team, locate and manage your class team settings, post announcements for students, post assignments for students, and access the Microsoft Educator Center to continue learning. For more information about additional TRLE video on-demand sessions and other available TRLE programs, go to pd.swboces.org/TRLE_grant or contact Mary Beth Wilson. We value your feedback about your experience with this digital resource. Please take a moment to share feedback about your experience with this resource using the following link.